Tadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Majamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. Welcome. Uh, we are seeing the 12th chapter in which Swamiji or Krishna Ji has presented the concept that all sadhanas must be somehow guided or governed by a spirit of devotion, an attitude of love, reverence, appreciation, devotion, giving something back. Fundamentally, understanding that there is God in the equation. Life is not something that happens without any God principle that brings about this miracle of life, as we call. So the mind needs to be sensitized enough to sense the presence of this divine principle, this divine intelligence, this intelligent design order has an architect. So once the individual gets the understanding that there is God, and this is an understanding more easily available in the Indian society rather than in the materialistic Western world. Once the person grows in that environment in which everybody has this understanding that there is a creator, there is God, and then a person begins the process that is a religious process. So there is a subtle distinction and between religiousness and spirituality. So the first step is understand that this creation did not happen by itself. It was not, it did not emerge from insentient achetana matter and energies. Matter and energy are achetana, insentient, inconscious, is inert. So there is a conscious, intelligent principle holding both together, the inert world of matter and energies and the consciousness reflect upon all jivas of all types, all living creatures. They experience conscious existence somehow. So the person has understood that there is God, but the person lives under the pressure of so much desire. And at the beginning, the desires, they are of the lowest level possible because everybody comes here and the status quo, the environment is founded on this ancient ignorance, the ignorance that this meteor order is real and it's a very dangerous place to be. And we have to do everything we can to secure our existence, to protect. So therefore, everybody runs, together to in search of protection and enjoyment, sensory enjoyment, entertainment, and so on. So everybody lives like that, and then it's absolutely understandable that at the beginning you need to understand that there is God, and then even though you are still searching only for security and sense pleasures. So you must do that, bring into the equation the creator. So I want my well-beingness, I want my security, I want pleasures for myself and my family at the most, no? And because I understood that there is God, because I developed an appreciation for life, and because I have these desires, I'm going to go in search of my objects of desires, but never violating the laws and the principles of the creator. Because now I understood that there is a creator. I understood that there is a dharma to be observed. This set of laws that somehow structure the field must be observed, and I have to contain my desires to get what I want at any cost and follow the rules of this game. So that makes a person a religious person. A religious person is the first step. The second step is a religious person as well that has grown in such a way, has purified through his relationship with God, although he was searching only for egoic, self-centered, worldly gains. But he was invoking God, and he was dedicating their actions to its actions to God and taking whatsoever result without complaints. But yet he wants what he wants, but he's not going to violate the rules just to get what he wants because he knows that there is God. It has a certain understanding of Dharma. Huh? It has a fear, a certain fear of hell as well. This makes the person a religious person. Okay, a religious person has to go to the stage number two, in which it is a religious person, but now it's a refined religious person. It's doing everything, but now it's not only about me, and my children. Now it is more than that. I do what I do because I have one more desire, which is to serve the society. And I serve the society knowing that Ishwara is a society because everything is Saguna Ishwara. Everything is resolved or is an integral part of Saguna, Vishwarupa, Saguna, Ishwara. So this is a much higher way of Karma Yoga. The individual is a religious person, and this Sakama Bhakti has become an Niskama Bhakti. He does actions not only to benefit himself and his close relatives, but the environment as well. So it's a much higher kind of uh, stage for one to be. Yeah? So we could even include a third level, which is like now I'm doing things not for worldly gains. I'm doing things not to serve society. I'm doing things to develop a proper mind, more refinement, more purification, because my goal now is to understand the true nature of this creator as my very nature as Nirguna Atma. So now I heard the songs of the Upanishad here and there, and it caught my attention. Now I somehow I resonate with those message, and I heard I need to further qualify, further refine, and for that I'm gonna go to a third level, so to speak, of Karma Yoga, in which I do what I do. Of course, I'm not neglecting my family, I'm not neglecting my body, I'm not neglecting my house, I'm taking care of things, but without any obsession, with moderation. I'm doing my best that my actions can serve the environment and that my close society, my and above all, I'm doing all of that to develop more qualification, more purification, more refinement. So I want spiritual, I then begin spiritual development because it's no longer a question of being a religious person, having a relationship with God in which I do not just take more and give nothing, or take more and give a little bit. Now I'm taking and giving equally, and I know that everything I take is a gift from Shwara, and everything I put into the system, I'm putting it dedicating to Shwara. So this is all religious because the person is in close relation with Saguna Shwara. But the third level of Karma Yoga, the individual is just like, no, I understood that there is more to God than what it appears. And I just want to have more and more purity, more and more refinement, more and more sattva guna at my disposal because I want to understand the final revelations or declarations or Mahavakyas of the Upanishads, of the Vedas. So the refinement does not stop. It's gradual, but nothing can stop this process. So now the individual is one step from entering Jnana Yoga. In fact, when he comes to that vision of the Upanishadic Mahavakyas, he's already doing some sort of Jnana Yoga as well. As a matter of fact, Krishna goes all through the Gita presenting fragments of Jnana Yoga here and there, giving flavors and tastes, to Arjuna. And in some other section, it goes deeper into the Jnana Yoga. So now the religious person is becoming what? A religious spiritual person. Okay? So we begin as a religious person. And then our goal is to become a religious spiritual person. Because even though when I begin searching to the nature of God as Nirguna Atma, my very Atma, I'm still seeing my Atma, my very self, as the nature of God. You can never lose that perspective because otherwise the ego may somehow lose its way, says, oh no, okay, there is no God. Ah, no, this was just a fiction. It's an illusion, and the thing is to understand yourself, and then the ego is at the risk of losing its way because it's going to believe that it's all about me because there is no God. There is a God. This God is integral part. In fact, is one of the pillars of this creation. Is the intelligence cause of the creation. Is the material cause of the creation. It manifests as the creation. There is God, although Jesus is an apparent or superimposed order of reality. So this apparent God needs to be acknowledged all through until one leaves the body, because it was seen this apparent reality that the Jiva Atma has extracted the knowledge of the absolute reality, I don't know why, but lately when I speak, I start talking, my throat is hurting. Okay. So just to draw a better picture, last time I was off and I was trying to present this picture, but was not coming clear. So the distinction between being a religious person and a religious spiritual person, and it's better to be a religious spiritual person than just a spiritual person who has rejected the concept of God, the creator. You understand? No, God is myself. Okay, and then it's all about myself. So all of that because Krishna was telling Arjuna. So everything is about Bhakti Yoga. The final stage is the most advanced, and that is the Jnana Yoga devotion, the the sadhana of self-inquiry, which requires a huge devotion and a very fine devotion, because you are devoted to something which is not an object of devotion. You are devoted to the subject, not to any object of devotion. And people have trouble to get that without believing that it's only philosophy. So he was just regressing, stepping down backwards until the level number one. There was a joke in between somewhere in the last few classes in which he says that if you're not ready even to the first stage of the Karma Yoga, don't worry. Next birth, if you don't come back as a cockroach. So, and the scriptures, our scriptures are so beautiful. They leave the doors open to anyone at every and any stage of development. Of course, there are all kinds of teachers and ashrams and gurus, and some of them are more focused on presenting the entry level teachings of the Vedas. Okay. And some of them, they are more into presenting the final teachings of the Upanishads. So if you present the teachings as a dilute soup, you're gonna find more people interested into that because there will be a lot of sangha, a lot of doing, and very little inquiry into the nature of the true God. So people can study Sanskrit, many activities in the ashrams, you find it, you know. And the beauty is that the Vedas, they accommodate everyone regardless of our stage and never make anybody feel small or inadequate for not being qualified for the Jnana Yoga, the fifth stage. Once you grow, even through your selfish actions, the mind will, due to your religious attitude, the mind will uh, get rid of its impurity. It will grow. It will mature. Just the attitude of receiving things as prasadam, which requires someone to be really a religious person, and presenting one's action, as a service to the Lord, dedicating it to the Lord. Lord, here goes my actions. It's all about me with the results, but I'm doing in observance of your laws and principles. Please bless me because my actions are in harmony with you, So even if the intention is a self palm, yeah, yet the mind purifies because you're not never losing this perspective of you navigate within God itself. Swami mentioned that everything, if you need, householders, they usually needs many things until they don't. But a house, so never forget that the house belongs to God, never to us. Every house should be a temple. That's what it means, is the Lord's house. And the Lord is going to be okay if you put his picture below the staircase. He says it does not mind. It understands. You are not that important. He is not that important to you, but he knows that that's going to grow. It's all about understanding. Take your house as a leasing. Yeah? You a tenant. It's a temple of God in which you stay for a time being. Temple of the Lord, so on. Your personal desire being fulfilled at the same time, if you keep that connection with God, the mind purifies naturally and gradually. What are the impurities? All forms of inauspiciousness. All kinds of impurities are going to go. So how are we going to purify? We purify by seeing the impurities. We have a relationship with God and we observe God's laws and principles. We know that there is a universal dharma. Never do anything to anybody you would not want to be done to you. And every time you make a mistake, that shows before your face. And when it shows before our face, that sin is enough to dissipate. Even if we repeat the same mistakes again and again, we just look at that and say, "Oh Lord, I'm weak. I have repeat the same mistake again." The Lord will say, "Not a problem. Try again next time." That is the compassion of this Ishvara system. This is the lifetime of Sakama, Karma, Pradhana, Karma Yogi, as a yoga, and dream uh, such a person is very, very extrovert, is Rajasic by nature, has children, business, and family, and uh, a large family, and he has so many roles to play, and has no time to do actions to serve society. It does not even cross one mind that I'm doing actions to grow spiritually, to purify, as a person, as a soul. uh, but it does not matter, says Swamiji. And all of these actions, taking God into your equation of life, inevitably will purify your mind. Dedicate the results of all your actions to Ishvara. The actions are dedicated and the results are recognized as Ishvara's results, gifts, and and even if you violate some dharma here and there, know that it is understandable and natural. Oh, but what I'm gonna do? I'm killing some animals to eat them. I eat fish and this and that. They say it doesn't matter. Even if you do something like that for whatsoever reason, uh, give thanks to Ishvara, offer that fish to Ishvara, say Ishvara, this is for somehow supporting my physical body, you know. Small himsas, they are unavoidable. He says we kill insects all over the place to keep our house clean. So if we have some germs and parasites and bacteria in the body, we're going to kill those jivas as well. I mean, there is no way to live without killing some living beings. uh. So is this a pattern? So I'm explaining something interesting here. Those are inevitable patterns. Sooner patterns. A grihasta does many of these small patterns. Even the wife or the people staying home and cleaning the house will do those small patterns, but these small patterns will not really affect you. At the time of cooking, so many insects may be killed. I don't, I don't, I don't believe anybody in the spiritual world go to the extreme of ahimsa, uh, never to kill a mosquito or a fly when they are sucking your blood. So the instinct is just to do that. Some people will say, excuse me, please, excuse me. This is my arm and my blood, and I don't want to share with you. And then a voice will come, why not? You have enough blood, let them take, you know? So we cannot avoid certain things. I mean, driving a car, we kill so many jivas on the road, big time. So these small hamsters will not really affect you. It may purify you if you invoke God, if you remember God, and tell God, God, I'm sorry. Nowadays, I cannot live without killing other creatures here. Oh no, give up your car, never have a car anymore. Okay, so how I'm gonna move around with public transportation? Public transportation kills a lot of jivas as well. So no, it's okay to kill other jivas because they are inferior jivas. I don't know about that. What will happen if I do that? If I practice Kami Yoga for a length of time, I will graduate to the second step. If I live, remember God as the source of my life, as the sustainer of my life, and going for what I want. but keeping God in my mind. What happens is that gradually but surely you move in the second step in your religious process. You become a niskama karma yogi, which means personal desires will come down, which will be replaced by spiritual desire, which will be replaced by mumukshutva. So here he jumped, okay? Swamiji jumped here, uh, not to say there was a mistake, but it's just a way of present the teachings. So if you pass through the first stage, you will find yourself as a mumukshutva, which is the spiritual desire for self-recognition and moksha. But before you get there, you remain your relationship with God, but now you want to do more than just serving yourself. You want to serve society, always with the same picture in mind, which is I live within Ishwara. I serve Ishwara by serving my family, but not only my family, but my community. Okay, I do things that could bring benefit to more and more people and other beings. So that is the development. And then when I get to the second stage, I'm closer and closer to the fifth stage, which is the development of a burning desire, strong desire, intense desire for self-recognition, for understand the nature, nirguna of God, the nirguna nature of God. That's the last stage. Now, but on the second stage, my finite selfish desires are going to be replaced, not suppressed. It's just the maturity will nature leave behind those self-centered desires and will produce a desire bigger than that. I want to serve God, yes, but by doing things that can produce benefit to all people around me. And then Nanda presents this example of what it is, the development of maturity, with the sample example of the children. In the beginning, they're interested in toys, and the balloon with gas inside is a symbol of an amazing toy. Every child at the age of 1, 2, 3, enjoy, especially in the old world. And India was always a little backward, so that was the main kind of toy, poor society. So the child values that balloon more than anything. But when the balloon goes on, balloon bursts, and then there is great suffering. But soon enough, the child sees no wonder anymore in those balloons. He just look at balloons and say, "Oh my God, what a fool I was to be so crazy about these balloons." He goes into different toys. And so I'm saying, so it's not because the person has this incredible love and value for balloons that you're going to give balloons on one's 25th birthday anniversary. So as a gift, you don't like that anymore. So you grow out of things. This is a beautiful expression. Growing out of things does not involve any suppression or repression. It's a natural course of life. We grow out of things, or we transcend the desire for inferior things because now we desire higher things. This is a sign of maturity. Niskama, karma, pradana, karma yoga. Every one of these actions are meant to produce further refinement. I will be elevated after some time to Ekarupa Upasana, which is the third stage. He jumps from Karma Yoga to Upasana. but I like to present another level of Karma Yoga there, which is doing things for spiritual elevation, spiritual growth, yet serving God and serving society. And then once one moves to the didactically speaking, the third level is Upasana, but one cannot drop out of being a grihasta and say, okay, now I have graduated from Niskama Kama Yoga. Now I'm going to be a meditator. So I'm sorry, but I cannot be a grihasta anymore. I cannot do all these activities because I need to do a lot of Upasana meditation, yeah, on the nature of Ekarupa. Yeah? So Ishvara, no, I mean, the Grihasta is still has to do a lot of actions. The Grihasta now, he's doing what he's doing. He's doing mostly for spiritual development, purification, refinement, maturity. He's already doing things for developing more and more strong desire for Yin Yoga, Muksha. So, and then he also may do Upasana, okay? And depending on the degree, because if someone is Kami Yogi, because one's lifestyle as a Grihasta is a lot of roles to play in society. So it's a great opportunity to naturally do your sadhana as a Kami Yogi. So he's doing this Kama Yogi, and now he's no longer interested in selfish accomplishment. He wants the benefit of society, and furthermore, he wants the benefit of society, but most importantly, he wants more and more inner purification, inner maturity. Okay. So at that level, the individual most probably is already prepared for Yana Yoga, or at least to do Upasana, taking Ishvara as Vishvarupa Ishvara, So the entire cosmos is God. God is this intelligence holding it all together. God is the miracle of life. God is everything, is every people, every insect. So that involvement with this manifestation, seeing God behind everything, is a very, very high stage of development of one's relationship with Saguna God. At that level, one can just skip Upasana altogether, or if one feels like I need Upasana, I go for Vishvarupa Upasana because I'm already seeing, Ishvara, and I'm already uh, understanding the game, understanding that I need to further purify to get into the teachings of the Upanishads. I don't know if this is becoming a bit confusing or if it's clarifying.
Yeah, beautifully clarifying. Thank you.
Thank you. So, so I'm now wrapping it up. Say, so we spoke enough about that. These are the five stages. The first is the lowest. The fifth is the highest. The fifth is in which you are developing more and more mumukshudva, this intense desire for the assimilation, internalization of self-knowledge, self-recognition. You did everything, you understood everything intellectually, and now you want to have this total certainty, conviction in regards to those assertions or declarations from the Upanishads, so that you have a clear, firm, doubtless self-knowledge. So that desire for this doubtless self-knowledge requires huge, huge, huge mumukshutva. Okay, is the last final qualification, the fourth qualification, the fourth D, no? Desire for direct aparoksha jnana. No? Those 5 stages, once again, Swamiji says, is called Bhakti Yoga. All these 5 stages must, I mean, from the stage number 1, you must have devotion, and devotion should grow through all the 5 stages. You can never do this without devotion, without relating to God, acknowledging God and knowing that God is doing everything for us. We are nothing without God. How about what's God? So get into the scriptures, and if you refine enough, you're going to have this vision of God as the supreme intelligence. We talk about Saguna God, which does everything. This is totally intelligently designed and sustained by this intelligence. And this is pure Sattva Guna. This is the Lord, the creator, sustainer. And that principle that knows how to recycle everything from moment to moment as well. So you understood God, you have reverence, you have love. It means you are good to go, and your journey is going to go like through the 5 stage, always with devotion in your heart. A person has to take the appropriate step according to his level of development. If a person is born already advanced, he can take straight away to the 4th or 5th stage. They are called spiritual genius or prodigies. They are straight away read for Yani Yoga. How come they are so genius? Because they have done a lot of the initial stages in previous births. So I'm saying that, if I say it may not have the same impact for certain people, but it says like the laws are never violated. No law of this universe can be violated. Okay? So if somebody does not need to begin from the 1st stage, but right away from the 4th or 5th, it's because these stages were already done in previous births. Because it's an intelligent design universe serving for the jivas to recognize the true nature of reality. We see this projection, and it's a meritocratic system, punya papa, spiritual religious punya. Although we exhaust some, you see, this is something as well that further illustrate the difference between religious and the spiritual punya. If you're a religious person, you're going to exhaust your religious punya in one of these lokas, as we know, but you exhaust it. But you can never produce just celestial punya or religious punya and go into these lokas without processing more purification. So what you exhaust is this punya, okay? This sensory experiential punya in the celestial realm, but the inner development, the inner purification, the inner growth, the inner maturity that goes hand in hand with this development of punya that takes someone to this loka, that is not exhausted because the spiritual development can never be taken away from this individual soul. So he says here, the law can never be violated. So you must come back, you must do your work here. You must develop punya, religious punya, and the spiritual punya. Spiritual punya could be said to be could be referred more to spiritual elevation, spiritual growth, spiritual purification. Okay, so you are refined, really refined as a body, mind, sense complex. So you enjoy sensory some results in some locus, celestial locus, but the purity is there. It's not exhausted, and it accumulates from birth to birth, and then takes person to the final birth in which the individual comes already with a good base of qualification. The law of this creation, the laws of the creators are never violated. It appears that they have done anything, and it appears that there is no law organizing this situation. It appears that it is not a question of meritocracy. It appears that it's accidental, it's a lottery. Somebody's born like that, and it's just good luck. No, there is no such a thing as good luck because everything follow this fundamental law, karma laws. You do, and you enjoy the results, and the only result that you don't really enjoy sensorily speaking is spiritual elevation. Or if you enjoy with a mental pacification, peace that passes human understanding. Okay. Next class. Let's see. I don't want to repeat too much. So we see that after Krishna has presented the five stages of sadhanas, all of them involving transcendental, growing spirits of devotion and reverence and love and appreciation, recognition of the value of having the opportunity here. So after having presented this, going from the first to the fifth, now he came back from the fifth to the first. We have seen it several times. The lowest stage of Bhakti Yoga, and then quickly remembering that from there we grow, and we do not need to necessarily begin from the lowest stage. It will depend on how much uh, inner growth we did in previous births. If we come with much worldly desires, then it's so difficult because some of us do not come with much worldly desires, and we come, but the values of society have such a power in one's mind. You know? I talk to for myself, my own experience, that from childhood I was not very attracted to many things, but somehow it was my duty to fulfill the expectations of my parents after so much sacrifice they did to take me to college. You understand? Poor family and so on. And then one finds oneself in a total confusion. What am I going to do now? I have no interest in this career, this profession and making money and this and that. So the pressure of society is so intense that most people, I believe, a lot of the people, somehow they give in, you know, they give in. And then karma hits, and then children come, wife come, children come, and then one's find oneself trapped in the rat race, okay? But inside there is something that, is not happy. This life is not what I want for my life, but to walk away is difficult, okay? So somehow I was blessed with the strength to somehow stumble, stumble here and there. I get the strength to walk away from everything to become a seeker or a spiritual vagabond, as I like to put. Okay. You can be stay from the first stages. Just make sure again now. Swamiji is highlighting this one. Make sure that you once you go for fulfilling your selfish worldly desires, that you do not adopt immoral, unrighteous, adharmic methods. Make sure never violate dogma. Otherwise, you cannot be a religious person. You can make mistakes. We all do. The ignorance here is very dense. But those mistakes should not become habits. So that, oh, God forgives everything. No, one has to understand, one has to have the sensitivity that if I do something that hurt others, I'm hurting myself after all, because I'm just doing things that I would not like to be done to me. I mean, the sensitivity within the mind of a person will provide him with that discomfort of being doing something immoral. So in that way we keep adjusting, we keep, sending our prayers for more force, more fortitude, more strength to stop those Adamic tendencies. The first step, the first condition for becoming a religious person is you must be use Adamic method of fulfilling your desires. You go for your self-centered desire, but you must use Dharmic methods of fulfilling your desires. The second condition is that when you do something to fulfill your selfish worldly desires, when you are accomplishing those desires, when you are able to enjoy the benefit of your effort, do not go and get lost in the enjoyment. Close your eyes and thank God because, you invoked God and now you receive the results, which is accomplishment. You fulfill your desires. Sometimes you do. Close your eyes and give thanks to the Lord. And offer the enjoyment to God's, or accept the enjoyment as a gift from the Lord. And when the enjoyment is just pain and suffering, I lost everything. I put all my money, in this investment. You have to take that as prasad as well. And for that, one must be even has to have even more devotion. Devotion requires understanding. Without understanding, devotion is very superficial and weak. Don't see it as your result, see it as Ishwara's prasad. Once a person practices this second stage of Bhakti Yoga, which begins the process of inner purification, inner maturity, and mental refinement, I'm enjoying things of this world, but I see everything as Ishwara Prasada. Ishwara's blessings is involved all the time in my enjoyment. The very Ishwara association, the association understandings of this relationship is going to surely purify the mind. And if the person follows this stage for sufficient time, the mind will become mature, and the maturity of the mind is indicated by refinement of the kind of desire the person has. The little child had desire for childish things, he grows, and then the desires keep changing, the nature of those desires, and then you have desire for wife, children, prosperity, security, and then later on you have desire to serve society, and then later on, you have desire for spiritual growth, for inner refinement, for more maturity, more development of certain qualifications. So we begin from the lowest or the grossest form of desires. Gradually, the desire is going to refine. So simple. Human beings can never be moved without desire. Desire is the force that moves us. So these desires, they have a certain emotions, attached with. The emotion provides us with the energy in motion to go to get what we want. So we begin with the very, very grossest form of desires. But if we become a religious person, we're going to have this approach, devotional approach, with love and reverence and appreciation for the opportunity. And that is going to refine the kind of desire I have. And then I look back, oh my God, how could I have that kind of desire? I never forget that some things becomes really imprinted on one's mind. After being in India for a long time, after I have gone through my relationship with Osho for 10 years, and then after being uh, in around Papaji for some time, this and that. And then I met Silvia. I went with her to Italy. And then when I got in Italy, I was there in Rimini on the seaside in Adriatic coast. And I was so fascinated to see the beauty and the richness. And then at the time, there was a Volkswagen car, a new model, very small, I look at the car, I fell in love. Oh my God, I need this car. I need this car. It's so nice. It's so small, simple, but perfect for me and for Silva, my companion. We need this car. When I saw myself entertain that desire, I was disappointed with my mind. I say, oh my God, I thought I was beyond these kinds of desires, you know? But right there, I was desire to have a car, a small Volkswagen, nice, sexy, new model, cheap to buy, cheap to maintain, it's so amazing the power of desire. So the desire gradually, it's tough, but it refines itself. I have given up a desire to go to India to do so, and I come back and then I say, okay, I'm gonna go back to society because I cannot live in India anymore. It's over. Papaji told me to go back. Now I need this car. So the desire is going to evolve, purify the nature of your desires to serve others, desires to go back to the world, to take care of first things first. In my case, I was already over my 40s, I guess, and I had no pain in my pocket. I was totally without money. Yeah? So you do what you have to do, but just be fair. Don't violate the rules of the game. Try to develop sattvic desires with desires that do not violate the game of life, the rules of the game. If you want to desire to serve society, that is a good desire, is a sattvic desire, is a dharmic desire. And what is the ultimate sattvic desire? Is desire for moksha, self-knowledge, and moksha, which is the ultimate desire, which is a desire, but it's a desire to put an end to all kinds of inferior desires. And then once you put an end to all kinds of inferior desires, the very mumuksha desire dissipates, because once you find what you are searching for your entire life, the search is over, the desire is over. So, and Swami goes back, recapping everything again. You become very much aware of people, society, and other creatures, other beings, the environment, the trees, and how to create the least impact, the least himsa around you. So you are very aware of the vegetable rain around you, the animal, and so on. The mind has expanded and has developed sensitivity, empathy. for all lives, towards all lives. You want the well-being of others. I am the beneficiary, all right, but I don't want to hurt others in the process. In this process of relationship, close association, which produce a greater and more profound and clear understanding of the nature of God and the relationship between I, the Jiva, and Ishvara, my mind gradually becomes purer and quieter. And I'm going to keep growing and purify my desires. I move it to even to Upasana sometimes. My Upasana becomes the higher level of Upasana, which is meditating as Ishvara, as the cosmos, which is Vishvarupa, Ishvara Upasana, until I come to the final stage of sadhana, which is Nirguna Ishvara, self-inquiry, or jnana. And Nirguna Ishvara Jnana, which is otherwise called the Advaita Jnana, or self-inquiry, is the highest level, it requires the highest level of bhakti. If I successfully pass through all these 5 levels of stages, or 5 stages of development, let's put it, I will become a Brahmayani. I will become a Yani. I will become a Jivan Mukta. I have become a Shitra Rayana. There are different terms. I have become an Advaita Bhakta. So devotion to the Lord as consciousness, existence, the only reality. Acknowledging is devotion. Acknowledging with great appreciation is devotion. These are the 5 stages of spiritual or development. Krishna wants to conclude this discussion in the next verse. So we are concluding this discussion now. Let's see. Knowledge is indeed superior to meditation. Meditation, meaning to say meditation without knowledge. What is meditation without knowledge? Is meditation as a means to create a silent mind, as a means to create great peace and bliss and satisfaction. Knowledge is superior to meditation without knowledge. Meditation with knowledge is superior to any other knowledge. So meditation with knowledge is superior to mere knowledge. He's trying to say you can get any knowledge, but you need to contemplate in order to assimilate that knowledge, whatsoever scientific knowledge or philosophical or religious or spiritual knowledge. So meditation without knowledge does not help. Meditation with knowledge is superior to have only the knowledge, meaning to say if you do Shravana, if you have the knowledge, okay? But if you do not do Nididhyasana, which is the Vedantic meditation, know that Nididhyasana is much superior than Shravana. Only getting the knowledge, only, resolving your questions and doubts about the knowledge, even if the knowledge is doubtless. I understood the entire system, the body of knowledge. No, I have no doubt, no questions, but I keep it as a knowledge, okay? So I need to do meditation upon this knowledge now that I have no more queries and questions about the knowledge. The knowledge is the system presented by Vedanta, the technology that reveals the true nature of the self as whole, full, and complete as meditators on nature. identity. So this technology, this system, this body of knowledge needs to be understood. But higher than understand this entire body of knowledge is contemplating, meditating, nididhyasana, until this knowledge is fully assimilated and internalized, which is different than merely understood. Renunciation of the results of actions is superior to meditation. There is peace after renunciation. Now I'm remembering this verse because I did not read up to this point today before our class. It's a bit appears to be a little bit controversial, this verse, because he keeps going like knowledge is superior to meditation, and we know that meditation for gaining just silence or experiential bliss, meditation with knowledge is superior than just theoretical knowledge. And then when you think that he's going to say, uh, self-knowledge, knowledge in regards to the nature of the meditator is the only knowledge that is going to liberate, but it needs to be internalized. And then, he goes back to the beginning and say, renunciation of the results of action is superior to all the rest, And that makes this verse a little bit controversial. And we're going to see this in the next class. And there is a reason why Swami Krishnaji present this to Arjuna and to all of us at that context, There is great peace after renunciation. Renunciation upon the results of one's actions is the highest sadhana. So for Arjuna at that stage, for most of us as karma yogis, because when you renounce, when you just live with no expectation in regards to the results, you have renounced that, you have surrendered to Ishvara, and at that stage of karma yoga, it produces great liberation, okay? To certain people, they need to stay at this stage and work on this stage because as some of our Mahatma has said, for a great Karma Yoga, for a refined Karma Yoga, liberation is almost as liberating as self-knowledge, Because as a Karma Yoga, you have no expectation. You live within God. You present your actions to God, and you accept the results with resignation, love as prasad. You have renounced all kinds of expectation. This brings great liberation itself by itself. Okay, are we good for tomorrow? Yeah. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. Thank you. Good to meet again. We see
Thank you
tomorrow.
so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Arlindo. Okay, bye now.
Bye.